Hi, I'm Elise and welcome to Which Way. Today's Witch Lore review is the Fear Street Trilogy. Warning, there will be minor unavoidable spoilers in this review, but it shouldn't stop you from enjoying it if you haven't seen it already. Released in 2021, this three-part slasher miniseries was directed by Lee Janiak and stars Kiana Madeira as Dina, Benjamin Flores Jr. as Josh, Olivia Scott Welsh as Sam, and Ashley Zuckerman as Sheriff Good. The town of Shadyside has been under the curse of a witch for over 3 centuries, but when it affects the lives and friends of Dina and her brother Josh, they intend to seek out the truth and put a stop to the curse, even when others before them have failed to do so. Starting in 1994, the series moves backwards whilst the duo works out the clues to undoing the curse, to the 1978 Nightwing Camp Massacre, and then back to where it all started in 1666, which, as we all know, includes the number of the beast. Dina sees 1666 through Sarah Fear's eyes, the other townsfolk played by actors we have seen previously in the series. The curse all started off with one book, the Devil's Book, in the possession of the widow Mary. Widows and beggars were often easy targets for accusations of witchcraft. Mary warns Sarah Fear of the influence of the devil after she finds her leafing through this tome.
Oh, the devil lives in that book. He calls to you from it. He senses you now, and if you're not careful, he'll bore himself beneath your skin, and he'll consume you from the inside out.
Shortly after, a series of unfortunate and brutal events occur in the town, and the townsfolk break out in hysteria. Unable to cope with problems outside of their control, they look for a scapegoat, and who better to blame than a witch?
Witches! Witches!
Some historians have blamed mass hysteria for the cause of the Salem witch trials in 1692. In the opening credits of Fear Street, we actually see an image depicting the Salem witch trials. And pinned up on Josh's curse board, we see the title page for Wonders of the Invisible World by Cotton Mather, who is one of the ministers involved in the Salem witch trials. Just like in those trials, these townsfolk search individuals for a devil's mark, a sign that they had made a pact with the devil. These could have been anything from freckles to birthmarks, and these townsfolk focus on young people who attended a gathering on the full moon, which could be likened to a witch's sabbat. Devil's mark or no, Sarah Fear and her friend Hannah are accused of witchcraft after a fellow villager said he saw them laying with the devil, another common accusation.
She made me watch as she lay with the devil.
Hannah is condemned to the gallows, but Sarah manages to escape and is now desperate to seek out the Devil's Book to free Hannah, but it's now in the hands of Solomon Good. Perhaps one of his relatives made their way to Salem, as in 1692, as part of the witch trials that occurred there, Sarah Good was one of those executed. So perhaps this inspired his last name. His first name is perhaps influenced by King Solomon. He's a character from many tales, and it's debated whether he was real or not, but some say he could control demons. In the Lesser Key of Solomon, a text written well after the supposed reign of the man himself, are 72 sigils used for controlling these demons, one of which appears in the Devil's Book, Astaroths to be precise. And a few other demons, not just ones from the Lesser Key of Solomon, are also named in the book. We also see what appears to be phases of the moon, a little bit of the Tree of Life from the Kabbalah, and a depiction of Satan, almost looking like an extended version of the satanic pentagram, and the witch's mark used in the rituals also has a similar resemblance. Unfortunately for Sarah Fear, the townsfolk still need their scapegoat, so are more than willing to string her up. In 1978, some bullies from Camp Nightwing take inspiration from her tale to harass a fellow camper, but suggest they should burn her instead.
You do know what they did to Sarah Fear, right? They hanged her on this fairy tree. But she would have died forever if you did what you always do to witches. You burn them.
Accused witches were hung for witchcraft in America, but burned as heretics in parts of Europe, just as an image that pops up in the opening sequence shows. It depicts David van der Leyen and Levina Gacilius being burned as heretics in 1554. Back in part 1, we see that the Shadyside mascot is actually a witch. Kind of ironic since the town thinks they are cursed by one. That is until you find out the truth. Their so-called witch laid a very different curse altogether, one that would bring out the truth and save Shadyside from their neighbouring devils of Sunnyvale. This film scores for lore and history, and it's been a while since I've seen a good slasher, and this one did not disappoint. It had a whole lot of 90s nostalgia in it. I'm wearing my very own 90s nostalgia here, Sick Sad World from Daria. It was the inspiration behind my Which Way logo. Let me know what you thought of this film in the comments and any other witchy films or TV shows you would like me to review in the future. Follow me on socials for some additional content, and as always, thank you very much for watching here on Which Way.